Hi book lovers, welcome back to my channel. This is going to be my reading vlog for the Paranormal Romance Readathon that I'm co-hosting with my friends Lisa from Remarkably Lisa and Jessica from Peace Love Books. If you missed the announcement, it's a 3-day long readathon where we just read paranormal romances. For a little refresh of what's on my TBR this weekend, I have Grigori by Lauren Smith, which is a dragon shifter romance. This is going to be my first read by this author. It's actually the book that I started with. Started today. It is the end of day 1 and I'm almost done with it. I'm about 2/3 of the way through it and it's great so far. It's probably gonna end up being a 4-star read, which is still really good. I'm really liking Grigori and Madeline. They don't quite get along at first just because they're on, opposite sides. He is a dragon shifter, the guardian of his people, of his family, and she wants to expose to the world that dragons exist. So Grigori tries to stop her and he ends up falling for her instead because she's his fated mate. It's a little bit exciting too, just because there's this bad guy who wants to take down Grigori's family and he needs to fight him. He's like training and gearing up for this battle along with his brother. And I'm really happy that I started with this book because it's going really well. The audiobook is good too. And the other book that I kind of started but I'm not too far into is Gypsy Blood by Kristy Cunning, which is book 1 in her All the Pretty Monsters series. It's a paranormal reverse harem romance. The heroine is a gypsy and she has magical powers and she also is able to see ghosts. She moves to the town where her mother lived, where her mother has just been killed, and she takes over her mother's business and tries to solve her mother's murder. But Violet, our heroine, she doesn't really know the extent of her powers. Violet is just clueless. She doesn't even know like other paranormal creatures exist, like vampires and werewolves and whatever else. So far I've met 2 of the guys. I think there's supposed to be 4, but I'm not quite sure. One of them is a shifter, a wolf shifter, and the other one is this monster hunter, but I'm not exactly sure what type of monster he himself is. We do get their point of views, which is really great. I really like that. So this is the 2nd series by Kristy Cunning that I'm reading. I've read her Dark Side series, which I loved, and so many people told me that I had to read the All the Pretty Monsters series as well. So here I am finally reading it, and depending on how much I enjoy this first book, I might end up continuing the series this weekend. But I do have a couple other books on my TBR that I also need to get to. I have The Ex-Hex by Erin Sterling, which is a witch romance. The heroine is a witch and it's a second chance romance between her and her ex, who she has accidentally cursed. So it's like a witch rom-com. This one is going to be next after I finish Gypsy Blood. And another book on my TBR is Wicked All Night by Jeaniene Frost, which is going to be my 2nd audiobook after I finish Grigori. I mean, I know I own the paperback, but I borrowed the audiobook from my library just because it's pretty much the only way I'll be able to get to all the books that I want to. So this one is book 3 in the Night Rebel series, a continuation of Ian and Veritas. If I do have time, I do want to try to fit in Witch Please by Anne Aguirre, which is another witchy romance with a witch heroine and a virgin baker hero. I have been really liking Anne Aguirre's books this year. I've been reading a lot of her alien romances, her fantasy romances, so hopefully I'll have time to get to this one. That is pretty much going to be it for my day 1 check-in. It's Friday night. I didn't really read too much, so I don't have anything else to say. So I will see you guys tomorrow. It is day 2 of the Paranormal Romance Readathon and I finished my very first book. Finally, I literally finished it while I was just sitting in bed this morning, but it's my audiobook of Grigori by Lauren Smith, which is the dragon shifter book. I really liked it. It's a solid 4-star read for me. I mean, it's got an alpha dragon shifter hero who kind of becomes obsessed with the heroine, the human heroine, who is his fated mate. So obviously, how could I not enjoy it? So it's a really fun read. I like the slight enemies to lovers vibes with her, trying to expose his people, his dragon shifter people, in order to get her PhD, and him trying to be the guardian and protect his people. I loved that there's action in this book. Like, most of it happens towards the second half, but some fighting going on dragon action. I also really liked Grigori's family. He has two brothers. One is currently missing, but his other brother is pretty prominent in this book. Both of these brothers do get their books. It's a trilogy, I think, but the brother that shows up in this book, his book is book 3, so I have to wait. But I really like the romance. I mean, it's classic fated mate stuff, but it still always gets to me. The audiobook was really nice to listen to. It's told in a female narrator's voice, but she does the hero's Russian accent really well. It's a pretty slight accent, so nothing, you know, cringy to listen to, but it was a really great book, a very solid 4-star read for me, and I did end up downloading the audiobook of the sequel, the next book, which is about the missing brother, because I really want to know what happens to him. I don't know if I'll get to it during this readathon because it's not on my TBR and I have too many books on my TBR already, so we'll see when I get to that, but I do really want to read it and the rest of the series. But right now I am currently about to go out for lunch. I'm going for dim sum with the family, with the relatives. It's been quite a while since the last time we went out to eat, let alone had dim sum. And then after that, I'm gonna bake some brownies with my cousin, so that should be fun. I'm also gonna try watching a horror movie, like the Stephanie Perkins new Netflix horror movie. I think it's slasher. I don't know. I don't really watch horror, so I'm gonna be watching this in bright daylight. I am a total scaredy cat. I don't know why we decided to do this, but I guess it's the spooky season, so we'll give it a shot. Also, I totally forgot to tell you what I'm currently listening to. My second audiobook is Wicked All Night by Jeaniene Frost, which is book 3 in the Night Rebel series. I love Jeaniene Frost. I love the series, so I'm sure I'm gonna enjoy it. And I'm currently a little bit over halfway Gypsy Blood by Kristy Cunning. I'm going to try to read a little bit more on the drive over to lunch, but it's been really good so far. The ghost best friend is hilarious. She reminds me a lot of Paka from the Dark Side series, just over the top, lots of ridiculous one-liners. Surprisingly, this book isn't quite as funny as the Dark Side series, but it's still really good, and I do like these characters and I am very intrigued by all of them. I still don't know exactly what all of them are. I mean, I know we have the vampire and the shifter and there's a monster hunter, but there's some others that are still a mystery. So I will let you know how that goes once I finish it. It's the end of day 2 of the readathon. It is Saturday night. I have changed clothes because baking is a bit messy. I got pumpkin puree a little bit all over me, but we made pumpkin cheesecake brownie. It's still cooling right now. Apparently needs a couple hours to cool and then it needs to be put in the fridge, but I probably won't have enough patience for that and I'll try it in a little bit. But yeah, I didn't read too much today just because I've been out and about and also doing other stuff. I didn't really make it through our horror movie or thriller movie, whatever genre it is. We couldn't even last like 5-6 minutes because someone already died and we just could not handle that. So I have no review for There's Someone in Your House. We did not watch anything past 6 minutes, but if you're looking for a movie where someone kills someone right at the beginning of the movie, it's probably for you. I am a couple chapters into Wicked All Night by Jeaniene Frost. Veritas and Ian are kind of back together. Like Ian is no longer on the brink of death and he has to fight in this little battle. Ian kind of challenged this guy on behalf of Veritas and Veritas is like, what are you doing? This is so stupid. You should not have done that. But he did, and now he has to go through all the duels, all the fights. So that's where I'm at in this book. I'm not sure where it's going. I didn't even read the blurb, so I don't even know what the main conflict is about, but it's fun so far. I mean, just lots of fighting, lots of banter. I'm still halfway through Gypsy Blood by Kristy Cunning, and I do like that we get everyone's point of views, except I think the last guy. I think there's supposed to be 4 heroes, and so far we've met only 3 of them. And luckily we do get a good amount of those 3 guys' point of views, which is great. Otherwise we'd be kind of clueless about what's going on alongside the heroine. I'm hoping I'm gonna finish one of these books by tonight before I fall asleep, because I'm definitely gonna read more, even though this is the end of the day 2 vlog, and at the latest finish my ebook by tomorrow and then start on the X-Hex by Erin Sterling tomorrow. I do have a lot of reading to do. Hopefully I'll make it to 4 books by the end of the readathon, but I mean, I'm doing fairly well. It's been a pretty good pace so far. I'm definitely going to be able to finish at least 3 books. So I will update you guys sometime tomorrow. It's currently 6 p.m. on Sunday. It's the last day of the readathon, and I do have some updates, some bookish updates, because I finished 2 books today, so a total of 3 books for the readathon. I finished an audiobook and an ebook. So my audiobook, I finished Wicked All Night by Jeaniene, which I am sad to say I'm giving it 3.5 stars because I really love the first 2 books. I gave book 1 5 stars. I gave book 2 4 stars. They were so good, and I loved Ian and Veritas, but this one I was just kind of bored with. Like, I loved these 2 again in this book. Like, they're always so much fun to read about, but the whole plot with them trying to take down this evil god that's trying to ruin everything, it just wasn't all that interesting to me. And it's like a new bad guy that's introduced in this book. The first 2 books were about this other bad guy that, you know, kind of built up momentum and got things exciting, so when they finally killed him, you know, that was fun. But here it was just like, okay, I don't really care too much about them, like these gods, these deities. And also the ending is so abrupt. Like, they beat the bad guy and then it just ends right there. We don't even get, you know, happy coupley stuff for Ian and Veritas. Like, I love epilogues where we get to see the couple happy and in love. I want to see the happily ever after in whatever form that is, but we don't really get that. And apparently I checked on Goodreads and this is supposed to be the final book. It's supposed to be a trilogy. I was expecting a 4th book, but apparently we are not getting one, which kind of sucks because this is a pretty abrupt and not too satisfying ending for me. So this is 3.5 stars, mainly just for Ian and Veritas. We do get to see some of the other characters in this world show up again, like Cat and Bones, Vlad, Mancaras. Vlad is my favorite. I mean, I love Ian and I love Bones, but Vlad is 100% my favorite of these 3 guys. And then I also finished my ebook of Gypsy Blood by Kristy Cunning, the first book in the All the Pretty Monsters series, and I give this one 4 stars. It's like a really good, interesting beginning. There's not too much romance in it, unfortunately, but I still really liked it. I like the premise of it. I like the world building. I like the humor, which Kristy Cunning is always really good at. The humor mainly comes in the form of Violet's best friend, who's a ghost, who is kind of loopy. She's just this really horny ghost that is just lusting over our 3 guys and constantly saying the dumbest and most ridiculous stuff about them, and I really like that. But I did finish the book, and the book is mainly about Violet learning more about this town that she's moved into, the people, the paranormal creatures that live in this town, and all the things that her mother kept from her. We learn that she has some interesting abilities as a gypsy. Like, she's almost immortal, which is really interesting. And we do get to learn more about the guys, mainly from their own point of views, because Violet is still fairly clueless about them, but she does start to learn more about them. So it's a reverse harem paranormal romance, and based on the ending, I think there's supposed to be 4 guys. The 4th one shows up mainly towards the end. I won't say too much about him just because it's a spoiler, but our 3 guys are Damien, who is a succubus and apparently like the brother of Dorian Gray, and we have Emmett, who is our alpha werewolf. All of our guys are like the alphas of their people. And the 3rd guy is Vance, who is this monster hunter, but we don't exactly know what he is. The last one is the vampire, and that's all I'll say about him, but he seems to be kind of the bad guy or anti-hero. So I am intrigued by all of them, especially the last guy, and I am definitely going to be continuing with the series, even though it's 6 books long. It's even longer than the Dark Side series, but apparently I bought these books like a long time ago. I bought the entire All the Pretty Monsters series in ebook, and I even bought all the Dark Side series in ebook too. They might have been free though, but yeah, they're all on my Kindle, which is really nice. And I did immediately download book 2 to read because I need to know what happens after that major reveal at the end of book 1. I did like it overall. It's a really promising start to the series. I'm not like obsessed or in love with it like I was with the first book of the Dark Side series, but it's still good. And my last book of the readathon, the book that I'm currently reading, is The Ex-Hex by Erin Sterling, which is pretty good so far. I'm about a quarter of the way into it. It's like the perfect fall paranormal read because it actually takes place in the fall. It's almost like Halloween Town. It's a town where the heroine and her cousin and her aunt live because their parents passed away and they're all witches. And like I said before, it is a second chance romance, and the hero himself is also a witch. I didn't realize that, but he's a witch and he is accidentally cursed by the heroine when they broke up like 9 years ago. Vivi was heartbroken and she and her cousin placed a hex on him, not knowing that it would actually work. So now that he's back in town to do like this witchy Founders Day thing, like this tradition that happens every 100 years, he has had some seriously bad luck in town. Like things are trying to kill him, the statue almost fell on top of him, and of course Vivi and Reese are still pretty into each other, even though they try not to be, Vivi especially. It's a really cute read so far. I'm really liking these characters and I'm hoping I'll be able to finish it by the end of the day. But that's all the updates that I have books wise. I do have to go on a Target run to pick up a charger for my laptop because my current charger is so dumb and I have to angle it at a certain angle in order to make it work, which is so annoying, so I have to buy a new one. I've honestly done nothing but read today because I just want to be able to finish at least 4 books, so I'll update you guys when I do end up finishing The Ex-Hex. It is 10:40 and I did finally manage to finish The Ex-Hex. I actually had to download the ebook so that I could read it faster because reading paperbacks just takes me forever, but I did manage to finish it. It was a really cute read. It's so perfectly Halloween and fall vibes. There's like a fall fair which actually takes place on Halloween, so I really like this one overall. I'm probably gonna give it 4 stars. I mean, I do think the romance could have been a little stronger. It is fairly low steam, like it's there but not really that much of it, but I didn't really expect much either. But the second chance romance was cute. We have this super irreverent hero who loves cracking jokes, doesn't take life seriously. So if you love those jokester kind of heroes, you'll definitely love Reese. I liked Vivian. I especially loved like her relationship with her cousin and her aunt. There's like a really strong girl group vibe. It also does get a little bit creepy with this ghost. I wasn't expecting the ghost stuff, but there was a little bit of mystery and suspense with that, which was really exciting. And like I said, I did think that the romance could have been a little stronger. Like I really wish that Reese could have shown a little bit more of his feelings for Vivian. I'm a big fan of heroes who pursue the heroine or like make his interest really known, and Reese is not quite that. I mean, he's still a good character, he's still really sweet, and thankfully we do get his point of view so we know what he's feeling, but I definitely feel like he could have shown that a little more to Vivian. Still, I did like it overall, mainly because of the combination of the Halloween and fall vibes, all the magic going on in this book. It was just a lot of fun, really easy to read. I mean, I finished it within a day. So if you're looking for something to read for Halloween that's super lighthearted, rom-com-y, like you're not a fan of anything horror, like I'm not, The Ex-Hex would be a really fun read. So this is my 4th and last book for the Paranormal Romance Readathon. I am pretty impressed that I actually managed to read 4 books. I finished 2 audiobooks and 2 ebooks in 3 days, so I'm really happy with that. I am probably going to start reading book 2 in the All the Pretty Monsters series by Kristy Cunning right now, because I have a feeling I'm going to just binge the rest of that series. And also I really want more of the romance because there's barely anything in book 1. There's like a kiss with one of the guys and that was it. I'm also 200 pages into A Shadow in the Ember by Jennifer L. Armentrout, which I had to put down for the readathon so that I could read the books on my TBR. So I'm still like in the paranormal slash fantasy romance mood right now. I also have a couple books that are on my TBR that are releasing on Halloween, like these paranormal romances that are out on Halloween, which I'm kind of annoyed by because I would rather read them in October rather than the end of October, because by the time I get to them it's probably gonna be November, and November is like Christmas season. So it's the Harley LaRue book, the second book in the Her Soul series. I don't remember the name, but it's the sequel to Her Soul to Take. And there's a monster romance that's also out on Halloween. It's called Monster Under My Bed by MJ Marston. That one's a monster reverse harem romance, so I am especially excited about it. But it's the first book in a trilogy, so I don't know when the other books are coming out. But that's it for this paranormal romance readathon vlog. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did join us, hopefully you enjoyed your reads. If you have any Halloween romance books that you think I need to read, please let me know. I am in the perfect mood for them right now. As always, all the books that I mentioned will be down in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!